couldn't make all of his workpeople come back again.
So you got a 70.
If
That was the best case scenario.
Yeah, that's if you really would have gotten an A. You're going to ace this one, champ. I'm feeling it.
All right. According to the Brain Trauma Foundation, about 2.5 million people suffer from a traumatic brain injury each year. 50,000 of those result in death, and 80,000 of them result in permanent disability. Now, after hours of reading articles, web pages, and watching documentaries, I feel credible enough to present this information to you. Today, I'll be informing you about the Brain Trauma Foundation and try to persuade you to donate to their cause and growth. First, I'll be giving a brief overview of what exactly a traumatic brain injury is, followed by a real-world story of an athlete who suffered a TBI, and lastly, I'll inform you about the Brain Trauma Foundation and how you can get involved. So, I'm sure most of you are wondering what exactly a TBI is. According to the American Speech Language Hearing Association, a traumatic brain injury is a brain injury that occurs when external mechanical forces cause brain dysfunction. Now, TBI can fall into two different categories. According to the Mayo Clinic, these two categories are open head injuries and closed head injuries. Now, an open head injury is also known as a penetrating injury, which is when an object actually penetrates your brain and causes damage from the inside. A closed head injury is a result from a blow to the head from a blunt object such as striking a windshield in a car crash. These blows cause different forms of dysfunction to the brain cells. A mild form of traumatic brain injury is more commonly known as a concussion and simply causes disorientation, sensory symptoms, and the person is awake after the fact. Now, severe traumatic brain injury can cause bruising in the brain, torn tissue, internal bleeding, which in turn leaves the person in a coma-like state for at least a few hours after the injury. Now that you understand what TBIs are, I'll share a real-world example of a young athlete who suffered from one. At age 21, professional snowboarder Kevin Pierce sustained a traumatic brain injury while training for the Olympics. Kevin suffered a TBI from crashing while attempting a new trick in the halfpipe. On his descent, he slammed his face into the ice of the halfpipe just above his left eye. This traumatic brain injury changed his life in many ways. After being in the CCU for almost a month, he was transferred to a rehab hospital that specializes in traumatic brain injuries. From there, he suffered through years of extensive rehab, which included learning how to walk again, vision therapy, and muscle recovery. Now, you've heard all the facts and you've heard a real-world example. Now I'll tell you about the Brain Trauma Foundation. The Brain Trauma Foundation is a non-profit organization that strives to improve the outcomes of traumatic brain injury patients. They do this through extensive research and their new technologies that they continue to develop. They've developed, maintained, and implemented their own forms of best practice guidelines for traumatic brain injuries. With these best practice guidelines, they have seen a 50% decrease in deaths, as well as the capability to teach medical professionals how to improve patient outcome. But even you can get involved. The Brain Trauma Foundation is always open to donations. These donations will help fund their research, help them educate medical professionals around the world, and help improve patient outcomes. The Brain Trauma Foundation can be your way of fighting the cause against traumatic brain injuries. Now you know what a TBI is, you've heard the effects of it, and you know how to get involved. According to the Brain Trauma Foundation, acquired brain trauma is the second most prevalent disability in America, topping out at 13.5 million Americans. You can help decrease this number by donating to the Brain Trauma Foundation today.
That was terrible.
Do you have to
I'm going to leave that part in. Just so
No,
they-
don't.
You don't have to show that we're